Hey, so today I saw a question on the Brain Directors group about how can I add a threads input field on the contact details form because new threads, the competitor of Twitter, etc., etc., etc. And this applies to any other social media um, platform. Okay, so it could be Telegram too if you wanted to add their own SMS, etc., etc. So the first thing that you do is you go to My Content Media Manager, and on the image folder, you upload the image that represents that social media site. Okay, so here we have threads hyphen social dot png. Why png? And I'll show you in a second, especially compared with the SMS. So I have png here. It could be webp too. Same thing for those two, but I would try to avoid JPEG mainly because of the transparency issue, the opacity for it. Okay, so once you've uploaded that, second step, the second step is on the form. Let me see if I can find the form here. You go to Toolbox, Form Manager, and you want to edit the listing contact details member. So we go to that one, scroll down like crazy until you get to the area where the social media links are. Okay, that's basically based on whatever you see here. Okay, so whatever you have here, like these are the ones that we've been either adding or this is the default here I can see because we had Telegram there. So here you can see the threads. Okay, but before you actually do that, we need to add it on the form. So what I did was the following. We can copy the WhatsApp one because it actually has the structure that I wanted to use for the threads. There you go. See? We copy this. Basically, you clone this. And what you want to do is change this part, just this part here. Okay? It would still be a website URL, but we'll changing the URL for the image to the one that you uploaded before. Okay? Followed by the actual name of the variable. So threads, I called it threads in the database, and threads here as the text label, which you can actually see here. Okay, threads. Now, once you save this form, you better go to the database. So how do you go to the database? You go to Developer Hub, you click MySQL, and then when this whole thing opens here, like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. No, don't worry. It's gonna open something like this, and just click here where these are the databases. Okay, you're gonna click on the one that ends in directory. You click on that one. You scroll down until you find users data. This is a table. You click on structure. You scroll down, and you're just gonna click here on go. That's it. Once you click on go, it's gonna show something like this. Something like this. And what you need to put there is threads, varchar, 255. I mean, I put 255. You can put something less. Like normally it would be around 100, maybe 120. I just exaggerated here. You put that and you save. With that, you've just included the threads column for your users in the proper way that you're supposed to be doing it on the database. Okay, so that would fix other issues that you might have if you don't do that properly. Okay, so that up to this point we've done uploading the image to the media manager, adding the option on the form so the member can actually visually see it. Basically, it's gonna be at the end here underneath what's up, and updating the structure of the database so that when it saves properly and you can actually query that properly, etc., etc., etc. And why do you need to query it properly? Because here's where it gets tricky if you don't. In order for the the actual threads to show here, where all the rest of the online social profiles are, you need to edit this specific widget. The Bootstrap theme member profile display website links. You don't need to type that all in. You can just go to Toolbox, widget manager, and just type this, display website links or website links or just maybe links, and this will show, or it will show down here. Just customize it, or if you already have it there, edit that baby there. And we just go to around line 50 and you should be able to see something like this. where the WhatsApp is. We copy the WhatsApp and we're just going to start changing the WhatsApp part here for the variable user to the threads one. You can see that I changed it. I changed that there, I changed that here to that one. I also changed the image. You can see here that I changed to that one. And the only thing that you're actually changing completely is the URL. So you can see that the WhatsApp shows like this. Because of the way that threads was made, you would be putting this specific one here, this whole block here, basically this whole thing here. Okay. Once you've done that, then if you go to the profile and you save it, you can see my URL here. Okay, especially the at there. We save it, you'll see reflected the same way here. See, so if they clicked it, they actually go to the threads and that's it. So why was I mentioning the PNG versus JPEG kind of thing? You can actually see here that the SMS, because it's a JPEG, it has a gray background that doesn't correspond to the one that I'm using here. So that's why you use typically PNG files, because you have the ability to make them transparent. So they match better with the background. So basically, again, the steps: uploading the image that you want to use there. Make sure that it's something like a square, like 64 by 64, 32 by 32, 72 by 72, 48 by 48, 128 by 128, something like that. Okay, depending on the size that you actually want to show it. Then next step on the form, you add that social media site that you want to add and you put a nice name on it. Third step, you go to the database and you add that the same way that we added this one here, the same way that you would add that one there. Fourth step, we added this specific widget, and based on a very close one that already exists, you can just basically clone it, just put the URL for it there, change this to whatever you put in the database, and you're done. In this particular case, it's because we're parsing the URL. In some other cases, you don't need to parse it, like this one, where it's actually the phone number. It's just a phone number, okay? And you can actually leave this one very similar to this one, just changing the starting part and then putting the rest there, or even replacing this whole thing, so it would look something like this if you wanted to, which would assume that the member is going to be typing the full URL. So if they're typing the full URL, I would actually like this. See? It's much easier like this, and you're done. But you gotta make sure that you put a note on the form that when they're putting the information in, like here, you would need to put something there that more or less says, well, you gotta put the full threads URL, because that's exactly how it's gonna be shown if you leave it like give me a sec, like this. Okay, so those are the 4 steps that you're gonna do, and after that, you'll see the results. This applies for all social media sites. Okay, actually, it doesn't have to be a social media site; it could be any site. So something to think about when you're adding more here. So with that said, think positive and big hugs to everybody as always. I'm gonna be putting a link for the ones that have actually asked for donations. I'm gonna be putting a link so you can leave me a donation. And yeah, that's about it. Big hugs to everybody. Bye.